Ah, and look, right off the bat, Zeb from Norway is the first one. Did you see what I was trying to do? I don't think you did because I didn't go live yet. You actually showed up on here before I even um, did anything. So, well, I wanted to welcome to the Wild Women of Wongo Wednesday edition. I know I'm like Wild Women of Wongo. It just came into my head. It was a 1958 film. It was real cheesy and goofy. And I'm like, well, it is Wednesday. So I figured, what the hell? Oh, look at you. Hi, Dave. How's it going today? Um, so you know what? I wanted to, I wanted to, somebody asked quite some time ago, hey, where's the Care Bear curtains? And I thought, at least for today, I thought I'd put the Care Bear curtains up because it's been a long time since I had the Care Bear curtains. People that watched my Psychos Platters episodes before I started live streaming, this is many, many moons ago. I used to have Care Bear curtains where I filmed because my late wife, Jessica, she had the Care Bear curtains. And no, I'm not talking right now, Ma. Sorry. But so I thought, a nice little tribute, right? Because 28th of January, it's been 3 years. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? And if I remember correctly, I was in a stream recently with listening to Mayo, and he's like, I miss those Care Bear curtains. And I'm like, well, I figure what the hell? We'll put the Care Bear curtains behind me. So I wanted to welcome everybody here, of course, like I said, to Psychos Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. I wanted to bring up a few things to the 6 people here in the audience. And I just thought I'd let you know, I don't know if there's any other broadcasts going on right now. I know Rachel probably be coming on real soon, or maybe I showed it before she did. I actually was hoping that Tim's Thrifty Music was going to be on this afternoon because he was on yesterday, but it does not seem that way. Also, guys, here in the Northwest Arkansas area, I don't know about you guys where you live, but it is nasty out there. And it's not Miss Jackson if you're nasty. We're talking, it's nasty weather. It's in the 20s today, but it is raining sleet is what the hell is happening here. It is raining sleet. It stopped finally shortly before I started the broadcast, but it was going for about 5 hours in a row. I heard it's supposed to go later and start up again. So I was very glad to have the day off. I do not know. It depends if I'm going in tomorrow or not, to be honest with you. Well, you know what? That is very kind of you. Considering, though, that we still have 10 more months of the year, we'll see if anybody can do that. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, JJ. Our store that I work at, we did not have. This is the first time in the 7+ years I've worked in this facility. We did not do what I call is our winter mod. It's a flex shelving, okay, near the front of the store. We did not do that this year. So there wasn't bunches of rock salt. There wasn't shovels. There wasn't de-icer. We didn't have any of that stuff, which is just really, really weird. And I had to turn customers away mostly. I mean, we kept what was it? Windshield washer fluid and big gallon things of de-icer, but we didn't have rock salt even. I had to send everybody else away. It was real weird. Everybody's sharing their love here. We got, of course, a whole bunch of people. It was great growing up. My grandfather worked for the DPW, Department of Public Works. Sure, would drop a huge bag. See, that's very helpful. I bought some rock salt, the Roadrunner brand, because it comes in a plastic jug and you can chuck it around. I had just enough to go throw some out and my front stoop, and then around where my car is, and I maybe have enough for maybe another front stoop. After that, I'm going to be running out, and we got a couple more weeks left of this nonsense. So I know some of these new subscriber names are going to be very familiar to you, which I also want, after I say these names, to just do a simple, quick reminder here. Walmart was great again. Apparently, they put the Billy Joel out too early. Oh boy. But did they start the fire? See, that's what we need to know about here. So new subs, believe it or not, Deadwax 66, Static Traveler. So you got Randy and Alan, and you got North Carolina Vinyl Picker Art and Miss You. Okay. So here's the thing. I've had some people comment, and if you're on here, obviously I'm doing broadcasts, and that's great. But please kindly either click the bell if you care to, or double check and see if you're sub to me, because it seems like it's also the same way on my side of the fence. I'm like, why didn't I get videos from these people? And then to discover, I'm like, I was subbed to them for a very long time, and to find out that it said I wasn't subbed to them. YouTube likes to do all kinds of bullshit that I'm not a big fan of. Look at you. That's right. From the great Michael Pilmer show. And I'm the one that christened their noise. I love the noise bit. I like, sometimes I'm working, so I only get to catch the noise bit. But I'm the one, and it seems like Michael's all right with it. I christened them Fuckestra because it's so cacophonic. You don't know what you're getting, and I look forward to that stuff. I hope to maybe be on a portion of Fuckestra maybe in a few weeks. I'm just gathering up my good stuff, including, I know it might sound a little creepy, but I actually have a stuffed Build-A-Bear with a voice chip of my late wife. It's about 7 seconds, and it's all I have. Bill, click and like and sub. Next thing will be, I will be stealth camping behind your house. Good luck on that. There's very little room behind my house. My son Paul, pick up the GD phone. I have totally uninstalled. Well, my mom, she lives by herself. She's 76, and she's got some friends. But do you now? I know about McCartney doing that tour, and he's not coming anywhere near me. And I'm just like, oh well, that's all there is. Yeah, see, there you go. We love the Pilmer people. Join the noise. That's right. Okay, so that was the sub bits, all right? So, of course, a lot of you people probably obviously have already heard, or if you haven't, here we go. This is in the last 24 hours. Rest in peace, Gary Brooker. Yes, rest in peace, Gary Brooker. Long time, he was the last original member to be in Procol Harum. I don't know if that means if the band's going to keep going. I know they haven't gigged since 2019. Maybe, pretty much Procol is done, obviously. I could be wrong on that. I mean, Robin Trower's still alive, and I want to say one or two others. But Gary Brooker, of course, Whiter Shade of Pale. Everybody remembers that song. Conquistador, Hamburg. There's a whole bunch of fun when it comes to Procol Harum. Some interesting things, though, I want to mention for side notes in regards to Mr. Brooker himself. Do you have any dish of mackerel? Really, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I had a chance to get that in the 90s, and now I kick myself in the ass. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I barely remembered in my noggin that Gary performed with at least two Beatles. Yeah, he did. So I have the 1982 Gary Brooker solo album, Lead Me to the Water. George Harrison does a track on there, and I heard it, and it's real good. If you know what I'm talking about, great. If not, go on YouTube and just go look up Gary Brooker, Lead Me to the Water, 1982, George Harrison, and you'll get the track for that. But that friendship must have, gone way back, because Gary is on George's All Things Must Pass album. And he also worked with Paul on two different things. Number one, he's on the 1979 album Back to the Egg with Paul in the rockestra portions of the album. And then when the Concert for the People of Camp Uchia album came out, that awesome double album that we wish we had more of those concerts, Gary Brooker is a member of Rockestra for the Rockestra portions of the concert. So we know he worked with George and Paul. Did he work with John and Ringo separately in their solo stuff? Put in the comments. I'd be curious. I just didn't see anything in the research portion. So Gary Brooker passed away. A cancer too, by the way. And then the other one, of course, that kind of sort of took me by surprise, Mark Lanigan. Mark Lanigan, who founded Screaming Trees. He ended up being in Queens of the Stone Age, Mad Season after Lane Staley left in the mid-90s, a whole bunch of different things. And dead at age of 57. Cause was not mentioned, but I really kind of thought it was unusual. And I go to Wiki sometimes. I'm not a big fan of Wiki, but the thing is that, is it possible that Mark could have, and I'm just alleging here, okay? Could it be possible that Mark could have taken the booster? Okay. Yes, you know what, Jethro Tobinge? I don't know what's taking so long, but I'm supposed to be getting Zealot Gene. I will be reviewing that hopefully next week or two if it gets here. I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I liked a couple singles I've heard. Feel the love here, everybody. Yeah, everyone should hit like that, right? You know you want to hit that. You know you want. Oh, boy. You can't hide from me, JJ, says Calvin. And also prayers going out. This one here kind of went under the radar. Prayers to Dave Menichetti, okay, from Y&T. He is, how should I say this, going through prostate cancer, okay, but they caught it early. So he will be doing the whatever typical things for prostate cancer. Wiki, don't lose my number. Which, speaking of that, not that that was a segue into anything, that was one of the doctor appointments I did have yesterday afternoon. No prostate cancer for this guy. We got the results back, and that's nice. You know, and ladies and gentlemen, or should I say gentlemen in this case, because if you are 40 and older, please go get checked every year. That's very, very important. I did not know until my doctor, who is one of the best urologists in the area here, he said 1 in 7 men, 1 in 7 get prostate cancer, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing is that I used to go off and say, there was a radio bit I did in the early O's when I commented about the Susan G. Komen, the pink ribbon, for the women, you know. I said, how come there can't be a men's cancer foundation, right? And then I went off and I threw out there, ladies and gentlemen, next year will be the first annual Frank Zappa prostate cancer memorial run. And I'm thinking, instead of a pink ribbon, it'd be like a ribbon of chains, steel chains or something like that. You know, a little more manly, as Tim Allen would say. No, not that Tim Allen from VC, the other Tim Allen. But, yeah, I know 1 in 7 is cray. That is, I couldn't even believe that stat myself, but my doctor said that. So, hey, but so prayers to Dave. Also, let's see here. Some new releases coming out. Some are already out. Some are preparing to be out. The new Scorpions album, Rock Believer. I heard the single. I like it. I have been a Scorps fan for a very long time, to be honest with you. I'm going to drop a link up here if anybody cares to pop on by. Just pop on by. Hey, at least I won't sing VC Love Boat again. How about that? That was a one-time thing. As everybody goes, oh, sweet Jesus, thank God to that. But yeah, so Rock Believer, saw the cover to it. I'm sorry, guys, I don't remember what the single was, but I liked it, though. The Scorps put out really good singles. You want to hear my very crappy imitation of Claus Main and from the Scorpions? Hang on a minute. For the 12 people that are up here. I had it up to 17, guys. You guys must have been bored. I'm Claus Main from the Scorpions. There, that was it. There was the Claus Main. So let's see. Mark Stein and Carmine Appice from Vanilla Fudge, and Lord knows how many other bands. But separately, they have solo albums that have come out. Mark's, I couldn't find the title on, but the Carmine Appice is Guitar Zeus. 100 sets. 100 sets, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a huge Carmine Appice fan, and I mean, hell, what hasn't he been on? What has Carmine not been on over the years? Him and his brother Vinny, excellent drummers, excellent. Richard Carpenter, if you like the Carpenters, we've only just begun to live. Actually, my favorite song probably from Carpenters, if we're going to go that way with it, would be the Leon Russell Penn Superstar. I've always loved that song, okay? And even though I'm not a big fan of their cover of Calling All Occupants, you gotta give Karen some credit on that for attempting it. Klaatu will always win me over on that one. So Richard Carpenter's got a book called Carpenter's The Musical Legacy. Maybe if you purchase it, he'll be close to you. See what I did? Okay. And then Slash is back with the Conspirators with the album number 4. Still waiting on a new Guns N' Roses album with Slash and Duff. Just like me, you long to be close to you. So let's see here. Would anybody like to see some vinyl finds? Now, the weather was pretty crappy, like I said, on and off. Today, obviously, I wouldn't be going anywhere. But last week, when I showed the albums that I showed, I could not find the 45s that I found. And I did finally find them. So I'm going to show you guys a dozen 45s I picked up. Forgot to tell you, always powered by coffee each and every time. That's how this works here. Oh no. JJ, did you see yesterday when I was on Rachel's birthday broadcast? I was only on for a little bit. I showed the Heine album that I picked up for 44 cents. Am I ever going to play it? No. But that and yesterday was the 53rd anniversary of the MC5 album, Kick Out the Jams. And I showed that in Rachel's show. I was on for I try to be on for about half an hour on Rachel's. I like Rachel's show. And the adventures of Rachel, James, Wax, Chair Enterprise. Because I think Chair Enterprise, out of all honesty, is going to end up take over James's job as wingman of the year. I'm very nervous about this. Chair Enterprise is very engaging. He's answered all my questions so far, and he doesn't drink as much chalky milk and roast beef sandwiches. The budget's a lot cheaper there, you see. Bing on horses. I had to throw that back out there. Okay, so Um, so here's the story about the 45s, all right? As he's like, get on with your story, you piece of shit. I'm working on it. So I went to one of my regular antique malls, okay, and there is this one guy that he used to be so good at finding more vinyl, okay? And I used to walk out. Sometimes I'd be a bad person. I'd get 20, 30 bucks worth of stuff. I don't think I've ever gone spent more than $30 with this dude. But he didn't have anything new. And I try to go once every 6 to 8 weeks. So I went off and I'm like, I was getting kind of disgusted just a little bit. Oh, I'll show this Goodwill one real quick though too. So I found this for $1 at Goodwill, 1991 Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, hickory dickory dock. Untamed, unbelievable dice rules. And I know you're wondering, why the hell would you have that? In case Andrew Dice Clay comes to the comedy club here. If he did, I'd go see him. Which, sorry, I keep bouncing all over the place in this broadcast, don't I? So Sunday at the comedy club that's in the next town over from me, they announced a new show, but it's not happening until September. Right. But the tickets were already selling out on the shows. And I'm going, holy crap. So I hurried up and I pulled the trigger. Okay. So in mid-September, Saturday Night Live, former Saturday Night Live alumni from 1986 to 1995, Kevin Nealon will be here. And so myself and my friend Donna Jo Cat Lady, we will be going to see Kevin Nealon. So I'll have to get a couple DVD covers and stuff together to try to get autographs for Mr. Nealon. All right, so we're done with that. So antique mall bit. So I end up finding this little batch. Okay. Just as I was leaving, new booth, $1 a piece. I'm going, and the condition was really nice. You're right, Kevin is hilarious. I know he was one of Norm Macdonald's besties, and I mean, he's been in almost every Adam Sandler film, just about, and of course the Showtime show Weeds. Yep, see, there you go. Thank you. To see, I say it, you end up mentioning it. That's right, and so. I'm going to probably end up, I suggest Half Price Books. They have all of this, or he can sign a copy of just about. Right. I'll probably try to get maybe like a Weeds season box set that he's on, and like, one of those Sandlers. I've got, I don't know if he was in, I'll have to check and see if he was in Grown Ups, the movie, because I've got that signed by Rob Schneider already. So that would be kind of nice to get Schneider and Nealon. So with these 45s, though, I pretty much took about half the box. I wish we had a Half Price Books here at JJ. I love when I go up to visit back up in Illinois, I check with my friend Scott, we check the Rockford, Illinois discount. There is a discount location of Half Price. We go there, and then we go to the Algonquin location. The Algonquin Lake in the Hills location. We go to that one. Those are the ones I've gone to for Half Price Books up in Illinois. So I ended up finding a bunch of strange stuff. I'll start out with the more local, which I thought was funny, so, at least to me anyway. Maybe you people know who the New Duncan Imperials are. This is from 1990 on Pravda. It's an EP. But the New Duncan Imperials have been around a very, very long time. I was very surprised to see that down here in Northwest Arkansas. I have a copy of Harry Anderson's DVD signed. He only sold it in Magic Store. Did not know that. I like Harry Anderson. I really, really do. I think he's been dead for a couple of years now, has he not? From Night Court. Pretty awesome stuff. I remember some of his magic comedy shows. I want to say HBO or something like that. So, okay. I don't have these in any specific order. Now, I should say that the condition on these things are relatively decent. They go anywhere from about Vici Plus to almost near mint for the age on some of these things. So this one here on Verve Forecast, this is mostly late 60s stuff, okay? Who do I think I am? The Apple Tree Theater. Yes, I know it says that Hightown Square was the supposed to be the plugged side, but I actually heard that radio stations played the flip on Apple Tree Theater on Verve Forecast. One of my favorite, hey Mike, one of my favorite 45s from these guys, Spirit White Label Mechanical World and Uncle Jack. Yes, I love both sides of this thing from the first LP. You know, Spirit, you either, I mean, most people for Spirit, they'll be like, what? They'll go, oh, sure, I got a line on you. They were a lot more than that, especially those first couple albums. They were really, really good. And you know what? Damn it. I wish Randy California didn't die the way he did. Okay. And I reached out after Randy died in 97. I reached out to Ed Cassidy, actually. I wanted to talk to him for a potential interview, but that kind of fell apart, which was sad. I would have loved to have picked Ed's brain, so to speak. So, nice little white label promo on Ode. I got half excited for 2 seconds here because I said, ooh, a white label Cold Gems. And I was hoping it was Monkeys because, obviously you guys know how I am with Monkeys. But it wasn't. But this was the first white label Cold Gems that I've ever found. Now, I had a yellow label at one point, yellow label promo of Teardrop City from the Monkees. I don't have that anymore. But I really dig the Hung Jury with Buses. This is a really cool tune. And if I remember correctly, this is like late 68, I want to say. And I was just like, wow. So I would love to find. There was not that much stuff other than the Monkees that came out on Cold Gems. Hung Jury was one. There was, yeah, see, I want to say, Dave, that, oh, and by the way, I should say this, guys, go do Dave's contest. Go sub to Dave's channel. I should have said that earlier. I apologize about my last video, ladies and gentlemen. That was fuzzy for some reason. I do not know why. Maybe I'm due for a digital camera. I've had this camera. I film all my episodes with the digital camera. And, well, I dropped it a couple months ago, and maybe that's why. Maybe I need to just plunk down and get a new one. But I would have loved to have seen, Randy and Cassidy were the constants pretty much in that band. In fact, I am looking for, speaking of Spirit, I'm looking for that Randy California solo album, Captain Copter in the Whirly Birds or the Twirly Birds or whatever it was, which there was a lot of different people that came that played on that album, including one of the members of Jimi Hendrix Experiences on that album from 72. I would love to find a decent copy of that bit for that. All right, so we showed Hung Jury with Buses. So then we go to a classic song, but done on Epic by the Towaway Zone, Searchin' and Shabbed. I don't know what Shabbed stands for, but the Towaway Zone on this. Royce, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I really, really do. You still doing your Friday shows, sir? I have to apologize. Fridays lately have gotten very busy for me. So I apologize for my ignorance in advance. If you're doing some Friday stuff, I would love to come on when you do have one soon. Here's one here that I honest to God, I've never seen a 45 on this gentleman. And I've seen a couple albums, and the man died sort of tragically in 76. Phil Oakes. Phil Oakes should have got more love when he was out there. You know, he came out with the school. He was in the school of with Bob Dylan. You know, that kind of the folk school back then. Okay, so a nice white label. You know, I mean, I know outside a small circle of friends was the big one here, but I like Miranda too. But Phil Oakes, ladies and gentlemen. Dave says, hi. Sundays at 7. Okay. All right. You know what? That's nice that you're doing Sundays at 7. Sometimes on Sunday nights, although I haven't been able to in the last few weeks, I go and listen to my buddy Ronnie Dark from Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark out of Syracuse, New York. He's got an awesome radio show. And hi, John. Hey, Paul. Really don't have Captain Copter. No, I don't. I got that on vinyl many years ago at a record show. Scored and got it. It's dynamite. You know what, John? Since you brought up record show, let me do this really quick. We are still looking on the timetable, weather permitting. March. Hang on a second. Let me look at my calendar here. Sorry, guys. March 6th. March 6th. Hoping. Okay. And I'll make it. I'll have an update before that. March 6th, there'll be a free record show in downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you are in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, we might be able to hang. I've been wanting, I have not gone to a record show in years, not since I've been in Illinois. I dabbled in a couple record shows up there before the Mighty Psycho even existed for Psycho's Platters. So that was quite some time ago. But I would love to see some of you people in Tulsa, Oklahoma on March 6th, if we get to do that. The other show that's coming up in March, March 27th, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the Springfield, Missouri area, there will be a record show. Now that one will cost $5, but I'm hoping to go to both of those. That would bookend March very nicely. And so I just thought I'd tell you the potential Mighty Psycho appearances. And of course, what would a broadcast not be without Bruce telling us about the London Town Back to the Agri Master? You know what, guys? We need them. We need them, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're in Ohio. Okay, John, but that's still awesome anyway. Land of Pooba for the band Pooba from Ohio. Now, so now we're getting to, you know what? I'm going to save that one for last. The best 45 in this bunch. I'll save that for last. So the next little bit here, Raymond Lefevre and his orchestra with Soul Coaxing on the Four Corners of the World. This one's an instrumental. It's a neat little instrumental, of course, with a cover of If I Were a Carpenter. If I were a carpenter, would you be my lady? So let's see. I'm shuffling around here now. What's the next one I want to show? Okay, so this one I thought was pretty cool. Here's the plug side. On Double Shot Records, Senor Soul with Pata Pata. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Really neat instrumental, both sides. You got Mosquito Soul on the or not Mosquito, Mosquito Soul. I thought I had enough coffee today, ladies and gentlemen. Coffee, I said. But Senior Soul on Double Shot, actually really neat 45. It really, really is. I like getting my instrumental on. Speaking of also, see, I'm just going to be a walking, talking commercial. Go check out Johnny G's Vinyl Treasures show. He does it live on Saturdays and other select days of the week. Johnny G's Vinyl Treasures. A very awesome. He will play obscure stuff. He'll do requests, and it is an awesome show to be subbed to. I'm subbed to it. Doug Fields from the Vinyl Grotto is subbed to it. We have other ones. Now, this one here, it sounds like it's really, really goofy, okay? I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it's a white label promo on Date Records. I was half hoping it'd be Zombies, but no, it wasn't. It was Little Georgie Holiday with Have a Gluey Christmas. Now, what's a gluey Christmas? Does that mean like, hey, it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day and you whip out, this is the 60s or 70s, late 60s here, you whip out the modeling glue and you start huffing? I mean, is that what a gluey Christmas is? Ladies and gentlemen, the Christmas that gets stuck on you. It's a gluey Christmas with Little George Holiday. I don't know. This next one, really, really cool. I dug it. George McCannon on Fidan, he did some Northern Soul. He dabbled in Northern Soul a little bit. This is a white label promo of 7 Million People, along with that typical chestnut. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't grow peaches on a cherry tree. It's true. You just can't. I mean, that'd be like maybe biologically impossible. But on Fidan, really, really neat stuff from George on that one. Okay, now we're coming to the last couple of the cool factor. I guess there must be a show because I went down to 7 people. Maybe Rach is on. I don't know. Hey, Tyler, how you doing, Tyler? I just got on here about half an hour back. Like I said, the weather here was just so poopy, and I know it's been almost 10 days since I had a show, so I wanted to do this. So, okay, next one. This one, I found the flip side first, and I'm going, what the heck is Big Sounds of the GTO Tiger? Well, then I flipped it and saw it's GTO Tiger by the Tigers on Colpix white label promo. Really nice. And yes, if you're a car enthusiast, you're really going to dig the sounds of the GTO Tiger. This here being from 65, if I remember correctly. From 65. This next one I have not had a chance to listen to. So for the moment, it's a mystery 45 till I go play it after the broadcast. The band is called The Medicine Cabinet. The label is called Round Trip Records. The 45, and you'll see it is upside down, but the world is upside down by The Medicine Cabinet. The flip side is My Train Leaves Tonight. Would you believe I have no information on this Medicine Cabinet 45? I like to do research before I talk about things. There is nothing on this 45 whatsoever, information-wise. Is this some goofy little psych gem? I have no clue. But so the Medicine Cabinet, what the world is upside down. And then lastly, for the moment, unless Medicine Cabinet surprises me, the top of the heap, the cream of the crop of this 45 pile that I only paid $1 a piece for. Let me check the condition here. Ooh. I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. This is minty. Very minty. Not a scratch, not a scuff, nothing. Well, thank you. I know I like obscurities too. It's fun. But this last one is not an obscurity, and it's on the company sleeve, and it's a white label promo. As everybody's like, shut up and will you tell us what it is? From the summer of '67, the Kinks on a white label promo, Autumn Almanac, with David Watts as the B-side. Autumn Almanac. This little sucker here, in the condition it goes for, is about 25 to 40. And so that's neat. And I've had some Kinks mid-60s reprise 45s, but I've never had a Kinks white label. So this, to me, was the king of the mountain, ladies and gentlemen, and worth the dollar investment that I paid. So you just never know what you're going to find when you least expect it at an antique mall, right? Right. So that was my vinyl finds, and I hope you guys like those. All right. So anybody want to come on up for a little bit? I tried to talk to some people to see if they wanted to come up, but yet, maybe they're all busy or just, other things. Let me get some more coffee and I'll show you what I did get today in the mail. How about that? It's I don't know. This is weird. Like I said, maybe I timed it all real bad because, well, maybe people are busy. I normally do my broadcasts at night, but and I still might. I might be on somebody else's panel tonight. I don't know. I like being it. If other people are going to do some shows tonight, that'd be great. But so let's see. I'm still trying to work on the gold mine, the Judas Priest issue. Okay, I haven't finished that yet. With oh boy, I love Priest. I do. I'd like to know what the bad blood was with KK Downing as to why he can't get back in the damn band. I mean, I just don't understand it. But so this is the April-May issue of Goldmine. Led Zeppelin through the lens of Neil Preston. Yeah. You want to see one or two pages here? I'll show you. I'll show you some previously unreleased pictures. Yeah. Good old oh boy. So let's see. How about from here's an interesting Who related one. Look, there he goes jumping, and there's Roger with that bit. So there's one that's never been shown. Let's see. Here's a picture. It says here, an intimate photograph of Led Zeppelin Normalcy on the band's jet starship. John Bonham, Peter Grant, Jimmy Page. I love Zepp. I've always loved Zepp. Oh, here's a fun one. This is a Outtake Gallery. This is a 2-pager showing all four. I love that double guitar. I love that double neck guitar. I mean, it's just, here, guys, is your one of the epitomes of greatness in rock music. Here's a couple solo picture shots. Oh, okay. I'm guessing, of course, 1976, based on the Happy Birthday America ice cream truck. Here's Roger Plant having a cone. He's having an ice cream cone. Squeeze my ice cream cone till it runs down my leg. I know that was bad. As long as it wasn't Rum Raisin. As long as it wasn't Rum Raisin, we're golden. Hey, I'm not all by myself. How you doing, Tom?
Good. How are you, Paul?
You know, if there was ever an album that should be titled "Music's to Slit Your Wrists By," oh, that's horrible. I can't believe I said
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so that's right, ladies and gentlemen. So some Led Zeppelin, nice shots. There's a book Neil Preston put out. I feel very stupid, Tyler, because I remember meeting in the mid 90s, and the dude gave me his business card even because I was going to do a radio interview with him, which when I tried to contact him, I think he was out of the country or something, believe it or not. And he did photograph Zeppelin and other bands in the 70s, and he made a coffee table book back in the 90s with a lot of great shots. And I was just like, I just would have loved to have picked his brain, but for the life of me, I can't remember the dude's name.
I wouldn't know. When it comes to like band photographers, the only one I can think of is Henry Diltz, and I'm sure that's not who you're talking about.
Oh, I like Henry's work. Okay, so once again, I have to have always an excuse to put the monkeys in the conversation.
Of course.
If I could pull up the picture that I saw today, I would, but I don't remember what page on Facebook I saw it. It's a beautiful color shot from '69 of Peter Tork and Renee Stewart, his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
It looked like a loving hippie couple that were very happy. And I'm like, I love that pic because I'm like, he looked happy. And I was just like, you know, I mean, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? But so I think I might have brought this up. I don't know if you were in the room when I brought this up, though. That's one thing I wish that 7A would find.
Are you talking about the release tapes? I believe we've had this conversation before.
Did we? Okay.
I'm with you.
So, yeah, I mean, from what I heard, it was only enough for an EP, but so what?
It's I don't care, man. Put it out there. I'll buy it. Yeah.
Yep. Not enough.
I think they did just like a demo session, right? It mentions it in the day by day book that's like a tome.
Right. Yeah. You know, I feel so ashamed. I have barely touched that book. I guess I've got myself. Between that and the Paul McCartney lyrics book, I've got so much reading material, and I'm just sitting here. If I got to convalesce for any stupid reason, there's my go-to.
Yeah, that's me with sci-fi books. I keep finding them at thrift stores, and I'm like, I'll get to these eventually.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was it? Were you in the room when I went off and you just brought up Sandoval's book, and I was actually very happy to find out that Sandoval dug around. And when Birds, Bees, Monkeys was getting done, and you know, there was so much stuff, so many outtakes. And
what's crazy about that is Peter Tork is the only thing that Peter is on that album is the piano for Daydream Believer. That's the only thing he's on there for it. And he was working on other stuff too. Like infamously, he was working on a song called Lady's Baby, which they say cost almost as much to do as Good Vibrations, which like it's a good song and I like it, but like it's not it's not that good. And what's crazy too though is it's got Stephen Stills and Dewey Martin on it from Springfield. Yeah. Which is
you know, and I know in the back of my head I always thought, I'm like, if Peter would have left and stuck with, well, I know that would have thrown musical feng shui off like crazy. But I could have seen Peter with a band with Steven and Dewey.
Yeah.
And that would have been your core.
And, you know, I wonder, in retrospect, it's easy for us to say that would have been great. And like, creatively, it would have been great. But like, this reminds me, I saw a post on a Monkees page the other day. Somebody was asking why Mike's solo stuff was never successful. And it's like, whether we like it or not, the stigma of him being one of the Monkees really hurt him. And I don't know if having Peter Tork with Stephen Stills and the other people would have tanked that group too. And it's not just a Monkees thing. It's bubblegum in general. Cause like, I've been reading about the McCoys, like the McCoys, Hang On Sloopy, destroyed. I mean, it was a big hit for them, and it destroyed them. Like, they finally got to make the records they wanted to. They did 2 albums for Mercury that are pretty good, and then they
Right.
teamed up with Johnny Winter, and they were going to call it Johnny Winter and the McCoys. And the record label's like, how about no? Because people are going to see the McCoys name and think it's just an album of Hang On Sloopy, and it's a shame because because we look at it as like, did you make a good record or not? And I think they absolutely proved themselves, but it's just not many people think it through that much, and it's unfortunate, really. So I would have liked that, but how well would that have gone over?
Right. Let me throw a couple things here first. Number one, I don't know if it's in Andrew's book or not. Like I said, since I didn't get that far, but I think it was last year or the year before, they did a little bit of research, and it appears that Peter it makes a uncredited background vocal appearance on Stephen Still's Love the One You're With. And I'm just like, knowing that, and I'm going, wow. I said, so Peter's on a hit record. It's just you don't know he's on the hit record.
Wasn't he on? There was a George Harrison thing he did banjo on too, right?
Yes, that was the movie Wonderwall, which I have never seen that movie. And I know it came out once, if I remember correctly. And I maybe should go look at eBay or whatever, or Amazon, and see if I can grab a copy. But you're right. Peter's on that thing, and it's only the film where you get the music part. But
I thought it was actually on the record. I haven't listened to it, so I just read about it.
No. So the thing is that I remember in the 80s, because I used to, so you're talking early 80s, all right? Obviously no internet, no other shit. So I subscribed to not only Monkey Business Fanzine, which was an awesome fanzine back then. You'll have to forgive me. I don't remember what her name, Maggie McManus. So Maggie was awesome. I used to communicate through letters with her a handful of times. She was always very patient with me. And you could call the Monkey hotline. I'm serious. It was like, it wasn't a free call, but it'd be like once a month I'd call and go, okay, because it'd be only a couple minutes. And I'm like, what are they up to? So that I was such a nerd. So I subscribed to that fanzine, and I also subscribed to Good Day Sunshine. So I had my Monkeys and Beatles monthly fanzines, and so I could keep up to date on that. I would love to get that Wonderwall set. And you're right, the McCoys were a great group, so I found a McCoys 45 not too long ago. But here's the funny part: it was, of course, not Hang On Sloopy. Was
it Sorry?
Fever.
Oh.
But still, that's the first time I have seen a McCoy 45 that was not Hang On Sloopy. So I had to grab it. It was in great shape. And
I've seen the ones on Bang. Like I Hang On Sloopy, and I've seen not Sorry, Sorrow. That's what I meant. Sorrow. I've seen that one. Sorry is the Easy Beats. But yeah. And Rick.
Oh wow.
Rick Derringer, yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Rick Derringer. I do have a Rick Derringer story though. Go figure on this. So there used to be this small ass bike. I think it was a biker bar, but I can't, since I wasn't old enough to go into it, I couldn't vouch for it. But there's this little town called Algonquin, Illinois. I just brought it up when I talked about Half Price Books. But in the 80s, Rick Derringer supposedly did a show in this little biker bar, and like the stage is like really cramped. I'm sorry. I think some of the best damn shows come in places like that. And I was just like, I would have loved to have been in the room for that, just to see Rick. Oh,
it was cool too. Before we switched topics, I was looking up that album that the three guys from the McCoys did with Johnny Winter. There's a live album that came out after that. They had replaced the drummer, but you know who they replaced it with? Was Bobby Caldwell, the drummer from Captain Beyond.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to look for a copy of that.
Caldwell's been everywhere. I'll tell you this. I was this close. That booth that I went to that I couldn't find jack shit before I found these 45s. So I found a copy of Captain Beyond with the lenticular cover, which I've been looking for that thing forever.
It's really good.
$10 was what was priced, and
That's
I'm going,
too
what's
bad.
wrong
Yeah.
with it? That's what I said. I'm like, what's wrong with it? So the one side looked really great. The other side, through 2 tracks, had a deep. I'm like, I can't do it. I should have maybe bought it for once just for the cover, and then I could have just down the line gotten another
Yeah.
non-lenticular and just switched it out. Maybe I will. I don't know. But Roadwork, yeah, I remember Roadwork. Rick and Johnny on it, great album.
Huh.
I'll tell you, I have a Johnny Winter story, and I wish I could tell you, hey, it's because I met Johnny Winter. But oh, look at that. There you go. So the Johnny Winter story I have is there's a Harley dealership here in my town in Rogers, Arkansas. Okay. And they used to get really, really decent namers to come through and do outdoor stuff. Like, okay, I'll admit the only one I got to see, only because my schedule allowed, was Little River Band, which, yes, I know it's not really Little River Band. It's Wayne Nelson from 80 and a bunch of other people. I get that. Okay. But they had Jackal. They had Great White. No, not with Jack Russell. But I mean, they tried, okay? They tried to bring a few people. Well, they had one final weekend, and it was going to be in early October. This was about 6-7 years ago. Okay. So the first night was going to be Johnny Winter. And I'm like, in Rogers? I said, I have got to go. I bought the damn tickets. Like, me and my buddy, we were going to go. And then the following night, it was the Kate brothers. I don't know if you know who they are, but they're Northwest Arkansas legends. They played in the band in the early 90s, okay, mostly touring. But they ended up, I think, on the album Jericho. So the Kate brothers have been around since the 60s, and the 70s was their heyday, but they're still together. They're going to do a show soon, actually. And they've been around 50 years almost. So that would have been a perfect weekend to just finish things off. And there is a nursery. Now, what do you mean by nursery? A nursery as in plant nursery. Okay. I don't know what they call them. It's just a nursery. So the dude bitched. He bitched to the city council. Now, when they did these shows on the weekends, there was curfews. 11 p.m. was the curfew. Okay. I don't think that's ridiculous on a Friday or Saturday night. This guy bitched. And because of him bitching to the city council, they fucking yanked those concerts. And I'm like, so help me. I said, if I knew who this guy at the nursery, because Johnny died shortly after that. And I'm going, because I knew people in that Harley where, and this was one of the cool parts though, Tyler, that every act that they brought in, they would have a table, under a canopy off to the side. The bands would come out and you could meet them. You just could meet them, whoever the hell it was. So I was almost surefire guaranteed to see Johnny if that show would have happened. And I had vinyl. I'm like, I was prepped. And I was so pissed, all because the little whiny dude from the nursery bitched to the city council. And that was those were the last concerts with namers that happened. Okay. Now it's just local regional shit.
Wow.
At that Harley dealership. And I'm like, ugh. Greg says, I got Johnny Winter with Janis Joplin live in Boston 69. Oh, I'd like to hear that. I didn't know that happened. Saw Johnny Winter in 77. Oh, Jay Giles in 38 special opens. That's a sweet little bill right there. I would have loved all of that. John, I'm jelly, John. Jam up jelly tight. But yeah, I mean, just damn. But yeah, so Johnny Winter and that's
Yeah.
I think I found a copy. I can't remember if it was the studio or the live one.
You can tell them. You can tell them apart. The studio one's black and white, and then the live one is like a picture of them on stage.
It was the live one, and
Yeah.
it was trampled on. It was trampled on by an elephant. That's why I didn't get it. And I'm like, damn it! There just was nothing I could do with it. And Johnny. So here's the other story I have about Johnny from one of my friends who met Johnny when he was down here. He played George's Majestic. It's an infamous club since it's almost going on 100 years old. This club has been around, and the I can tell you it was 2007 because I moved down in the late summer of 07, and my first day of living in my new place, I turned the radio on, and they're like, how would you like to win a pair of tickets to see Johnny Winter at George's Majestic next week? I'm like, what? I wasn't the right caller. I'm like, son of a bitch. And so I didn't get to go, okay? But my buddy did. And he's got, I don't know why he did this. Maybe it was the only thing he had. Johnny signed my friend Tom's Social Security card. But back then, I guess John, and maybe some people in the comments can help me out on this. He had this manager that was not looking out for Johnny's best interests and kept him doped up a lot.
Oh,
that is what I heard. And even back in 07, my buddy Tom said he performed okay. Sometimes he needed to sit on a stool. I'm going, that's not good. And I'm like, but he did look out of it, but he still did a decent show. And I'm going, oh no. And then I guess the last couple of years of John's life, I think he ended up with a musician named Paul Nelson. I hope I got that name. That's the first name that came up in my brain. And Paul was in Johnny's band, but he also had a solo career, Paul Nelson did. And he still does records, I guess, or music, whatever. And so Paul pretty much took over. He got rid of that other scummy manager, and Johnny actually was starting to be with the world again, which was great.
Yeah.
And he put out that one last album. I cannot remember the name of it. He went to a record store in St. Louis. I cannot remember what the big record store is in St. Louis for that kind of stuff. They had a lot of blues musicians and classic rockers would come through and do signings. And Johnny, I got warning on this, but you see, St. Louis is about a 5.5 hour drive from where I live. So it was not like, oh, I can just go hop up on the interstate, which was true. It would have been mostly interstate driving in the state of misery. But the catch was so there wasn't like advance. You went to the record store and Johnny was going to be there for 2 hours. That's it, because he was going to perform that night at Blueberry Hill, which was Chuck Berry's club in downtown St. Louis. So if you went to that afternoon CD record signing, you had to buy the album, and you were allowed one more thing that you could get signed. It would have been real tough to figure this one out, I'll tell you that. But there's short video on YouTube, I think, of that appearance. And there was a tour bus. You went into the tour bus. That's where the line was.
Oh, boy.
In and out. That's how it worked. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I would have gone. And so my first Johnny Winter record that I ever found. I found it at a garage sale for a quarter. I still have it in my collection. And it's on Imperial Records, 1968, I think, The Progressive Blues Experiment, which I know that album has been reprinted, I don't know how many times over, but I love that album. And I'm like, God, this guy's good. And then to find out the Winter Brothers backstory on both of them, and yeah, I would like to find all the records down the line on both of them, actually, but especially Johnny.
Yeah, I'll be real. I don't know a ton about him. I found a couple albums of his here and there in dollar bins and thrift stores, and mainly the ones I grabbed were for the McCoys, relation.
Right.
But I mean, it's not that I disliked them, but they didn't really strike me. I had, was it the full name, Jonathan Dawson Winter 3 or whatever? That was
Yep.
the one I had. And then I think I had another one, and like they were okay, but I think I'm going to trade them. It didn't really strike me. Like the Johnny Winter and I'm going to keep it because it's related to the McCoys. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see, and that's the thing. And you were talking about how, like the McCoys, unfortunately, could have, if it wasn't for the Hang On Sloopy albatross for them. And I mean, I always liked that damn song, but let's face it,
Sure.
it is the state song of Ohio, if I remember correctly. Tell me if
But
I'm
is it
right
really?
or wrong,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is the state song of Ohio, and I think that's cool. I'm sorry, but so I would like to find the Mercury stuff. I know what you're talking about. I've just never come across it.
There's two of them. It's was it Human Ball and Infinite McCoys, and they're like blues rock kind of with some psych in there. It's good. I interrupted you though. You were saying something.
Oh no, I was just going to say, if I remember correctly, for 2 seconds, I think the McCoys were briefly touched upon, which I thought wasn't quite just, but whatever. An awesome book from Ken Sharp. I think everybody should get a copy of this. If my library ever dumps it off into the Friends of the Library bookstore, because I'm the only one that seemed to have checked out this damn book over the last few years. Bubblegum is the Naked Truth.
I have that. I have that because that
excellent book.
There's a bit. Oh my God, there's a bit in there about there's like a Partridge Family religion. It's real goofy.
Tyler, I'm going to tell you, they got me good. I was looking on Wiki for the Daisy Bang. I'm like, this sounds like a great grit, and I'm like, fuckers, you, it was all fake. I'm like, I said that, and I'm like, the Daisy Bang, yeah. But I mean, of course, they touched on Monkeys, Partridge, all these other ones. Paul Revere gets thrown in. Paul Revere gets thrown in, and I'm going, okay, you can only go off and touch on. Sure. Okay, fine. Let me.
Yeah, well, okay, well, and that's another thing. How far do you want to go with that? It's like, oh, is it because they were in teen magazines? Like the Rolling Stones were in Tiger Beat. Like, what are you getting at? Like, I get it. The goofy outfits, sure, but at a certain point, like, give it up, man.
They should have been in the hall a very long time ago. But you see. So yeah, they brought up Let Me. They brought up Mr. Sun, Mr. Moon, which I like that song too. But my favorite from the quote bubblegum Raiders era is Cinderella Sunshine, the 45 mix. And I'm just like, to me, that is just nice and fuzzy and it's catchy as shit. And I'm just like, I've always loved that damn song. And
what's a great Raiders song that they should have made a single and they never did? Is Time After Time. Third track off of Hard and Heavy with Marshmello. I mean, granted, I get it that it's a bit too heavy to have been like a pop single then, but like that's a great one.
Yeah. Ronnie, okay, so you know how I love the Monkees so much. Ronnie Dark, my buddy with the radio show, is one of the biggest Paul Revere and the Raiders fans.
I follow him too. when I was going through posting all my Raiders stuff, he was like liking all of my posts. That's how I found him.
And it was because of him that I didn't. Okay, so I was very ignorant. I did not know that after Indian Reservation, they like made 1 to 2 45s a year into 1975. I'm going,
well,
what?
yeah, but they actually, there's a whole other album after Indian Reservation. And apparently there's another one that never got released. But it's like, don't you hate it when you're doing research and they're like, there's like a little tiny mini paragraph at the bottom where it's like, and they recorded X, Y, and Z, but it was never released, or they did additional sessions, and it just says that, but it doesn't specify anything. I hate that. But supposedly they did a bunch of sessions in '73 for another album that never got released. But yeah, they kept going till '75, and then there was like an infamously bad gig, and Mark Lindsay quit. And that was about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I think it was Lindsay quit in January '75, and Keith Allison quit in April. And if I remember correctly, Keith, when he quit the Raiders, went to Dolenz Jones, Boyce and Hart. And I'm going, well, at least you stayed in the because I mean that was Monkey.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I have somewhere I have the live from Japan. I wonder if he's credited on that. I never thought to look.
I'm just going to take an assumption because I know that. Okay, so I've got the Capitol album. Okay, and he's on that. There's a bunch of people that are on that damn album that I'm like, oh, I did not know this. Keith was a surprise. Jerry Yester was another surprise. He's on there. There's a few people on this damn album. And I got to admit, I have a copy. I haven't played it since I got it. And I mean, I remember Moonfire and I think it's Trying to Get the Feeling or whatever.
Yeah.
Those.
It's depressingly underwhelming. It's like you had the potential, but nothing exciting. It's not a bad record, but
what you were talking about, if I remember correctly, and Raven Records out of Australia.
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. Let me grab it.
Oh, you have it? Good.
Yeah. I got it here somewhere. Good.
The Raiders. I wish I could have seen them, at least with Lindsay. I only got to see him with Paul. I saw... I want to say it was in 2009 or 2010. I got to see Paul Revere with his band at that time. If I remember correctly, there's only one dude left. Oh, what you got? Oh, okay. Hang on a second. Let me make you big.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's on my want list, of course.
I had to import it, but I think it only came out in Japan. Because apparently what it was Daydream Believer became a hit again for them in like the 80s. It charted again. And so this was in the vaults and they just released it in like 81, I think.
And the reason for Daydream Believer jumping back on the charts was because it was used in a Kodak commercial in Japan. That's how it got back on the charts.
So the poster too, by the way.
Oh, well, let me see the poster.
I'm not going to take it out, but it's.
Oh, you're not going to take it out. Okay, that's all right.
I mean, I can. It'd be a pain to unfold it.
No, don't. That's okay. But I didn't know it came with a poster. I'll look for that too. But on CD, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Verisandblad. Fuck it. I know I butchered it. They put it out on CD in the late 90s. And they did that. They did a CD of that album, so that's what I have.
There's also a bootleg circulating of a concert from Disneyland from '76. Yeah, I don't have that, but I've read about it.
Yeah, I'm looking for that too. And if I also remember correctly, on that Disneyland bootleg, you have the '77. Actually, isn't the Disneyland one? The one where Torque pops back up with the banjo and he's got the really long beard. I've seen the photo. I've seen the photo of him jumping on stage.
Is he on the tape? I didn't know that.
I'm not sure. It could be a different Disneyland thing. I just know that somebody was smart and recorded. They played when all three of them were on stage. I'm going, oh, and I'm just like,
Yep.
so
See,
77, you got three of them on there, and I'm like, oh, should
you know,
that?
and it's a shame because there's not enough interest to justify him to do it. But God, I wish Sandoval would have just gone. I mean, granted, the thing would be as big as a television, but I wish he would have gone all the way through and done everything because there's got to be tons of juicy, interesting details after 1971. You know,
Yeah, exactly. And I would have now. I'm trying to think. There is a album that did come out about the Solo Monkey years. I want to say it was called Headquartered. I could be wrong on that. And I don't know how old the book is.
is it like it's a book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Headquartered. And it's the
Okay.
Solo Monkey years. And I'm like, I need to get that too, even if it's a little out of date, because maybe there'll be some things in there. But I was going to go backwards for 2 seconds and talk about the Raiders again, because
Yeah, sure.
where I was going, and I'm glad you showed that Dolenz Jones Boy's Heart album, because yeah, that is on my want list.
It's all right. I mean, there's some like feedback and stuff in it, like the amps feeding back. It's not the best recording, honestly. It's not bad, but like as far as live albums go, I've heard better.
Let's see here. Tim says it is pronounced Varise Saraband. Okay, see, I never knew how to say that right. It's just like I was having issue and somebody half yelled at me on one of my Mike Nesmith, because I did not at that time know how to pronounce Grand Ennui. Because I'm like, I don't know how the hell I said it Anai or something. It's like, no, it's ennui. Well, I'm sorry. I've never heard him say it at the time. So sue me. And I'm surprised they didn't. But so back to Raiders for a second. So yeah, after Indian Reservation, they had the album Country Wine, and I'm looking for that. But Raven Records out of Australia put out, I think they put it out a couple of years ago.
Is this the CD with the extra tracks? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And those extra tracks, it's some of, but not all of what they were going to put on the next record.
Right.
Which is fascinating.
One of my favorite 45s that came out that should have been a bigger hit, Powder Blue Mercedes Queen. I'm going, why did this not in 72 end up being a bigger hit is beyond me. I like that one. I like Love Music. That was the album, was Love Music, by the way. It was supposed to be the next one. And there's tapes somewhere, but so Love Music, Song Seller. There's like one or two more 45s, but it ends in 75. Omar Martinez ends up singing. The drummer sings on a couple tracks. I have an album. It's really goofy too, because the 45. So bicentennial, 1976. Everybody kind of went bicentennial fever. 20th Century Records signed the Raiders for a one song, and I have the album. I found it for a quarter at a church thrift shop about a year or two ago, and I couldn't believe I found the damn thing. It was really goofy. Don't ask me the name of the song. I can't remember it, but Omar is singing it because it was recorded in late 75. So no Mark, no Keith. Omar sings it, and he does a good job. And they put a 45 out. Supposedly the stock 45 is very hard to find, but the promos are a little easier. And it's one side was Paul Revere, the other side was a different artist. But that could have been an okay single. That they dropped the ball on that one. And then you got a very goofy, doesn't make sense single. And I only found out about this because of Ronnie Dark. In 76, they had One More Go, and it was on Drive Records. It doesn't sound anything like the Raiders anywhere. And I'm going, this just is really screwed up. But who was half involved. It was either, okay, so you know who, how hope I'm getting this right. You know who Howie Casey and the last name Finch are, right?
Wait, how that's like a Mercy Beat guy, right?
As in Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh.
So Casey and Finch were the two that were behind the whole damn thing. So they had some type of involvement, I want to say on the production end, or co-writing one of the songs for that last Raiders 45. And I'm going, it was horrible. I'm just going, why did we put this shit out? And so it was so buried all those years, and somebody found a copy like, hey, here's a 45 on Drive. I'm going, what? It's on YouTube. Just type in Paul Revere and the Raiders Drive Records at 45 and you'll find it. You can listen to it for yourself.
Yikes.
So yeah. And then but that was what I wanted. So I'm looking for that Country Wine Plus CD with all those extra goodies. Because yeah, the Raiders don't get enough love. I have one itty bitty Raider story. I do. So oh God, my stories are weird. I'm not going to lie. So I was a custodian at a grade school in Crystal Lake, Illinois in 1991, 92. And for some reason, I normally did second shift custodial work, not first. But I remember seeing on the wall near the principal's office the schedule of people. Sometimes they'd have little shows, kitty related stuff. And the name, oh, you're going to love this. Coming next week to perform a children's show, Mr. Jim Valley. I'm going, what? It can't be that Jim Valley. I said, it can't be. And I'm going, what time? I said, I got to go. What time is this happening? And so I found out, and I talked to the principal. I said, if it's all right with you, I want to see this show. And he's going, why would you be interested in this? Because I don't know I hope he didn't think I was a perv, but maybe he just thought, this is weird that you're asking this. And I told the principal, I said, sir, do you know who Jim Valley is? He goes, no. I go, Jim Valley was a late 60s member of Paul Revere and the Raiders. That's why I want to see Jim Valley. And it turned out I was correct.
Wow.
And he still does children's CDs and folk CDs.
Did you get to meet him?
Yes.
Nice.
And I all I had was like a scrap of paper, but I can't find the damn autograph.
Oh.
So the only Revere autograph related I have is Fang did a double CD.
Oh,
years back.
Right. That I remember that because that had older stuff unreleased and new stuff on it, right?
Guys, I did a review on this in the Psycho Platter archives. Go if you want to get some really fun stuff, some a little bit of Raiders outtakes, but mostly solo and Brotherhood outtakes. Oh yeah, I said Brotherhood. And a bunch of other fun. Get that Fang Volk anthology. That's what it's called. And you will not be disappointed.
I remember him hyping that. I completely forgot about it.
I'll sign it for you personally, because that's the only Raider autograph I've got. The day I saw Paul Revere and his Raiders back about in 09-10, normally he would have stuck around and signed for everybody in their heart's content. But the day that I showed up, it was an afternoon show. He normally was the closer, and Bill Medley was the one that would go on first. Well, they went off and announced before the show started that, unfortunately, Paul Revere had to go drive to the Springfield, Illinois airport, of all things, to go pick up his mother. Yes, the mom was visiting. And so he's like, I'm sorry, guys. He goes, but I believe in the show must go on, but we're flipping this and we're going on first, and unfortunately I will not be doing the normal meet and I'm like, son of a bitch, of all the days that I show up with a couple album from the 60s. And so he literally was gone minutes after the show was over, and I was just like, okay. But Bill Medley, he was, like I said, he was the closer that day, and Medley was nice as pie. I got to meet him and got a picture of him, and he signed. I kind of was I think I brought 4 or 5 Righteous Brothers albums, and he signed all of them for me, and his new CD. I always try to buy whatever new product somebody's got, because it's like, you got to support them. You got to support whatever new stuff that comes out. So, yeah. So, Fang Volk, that is the only autograph I've got. Now, Mark Lindsay, he has an eBay. He's got a page, and Mickey Dolenz has got a page on eBay, and Mark will sign CDs, but it's like $49.99. But you'll get a personalized Mark Lindsay. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if he's coming out for the Happy Together 2022 tour. I don't think he's on it this year. Chuck Negrin, he's coming back. People were wondering about that, believe it or not, because his COPD gets wonky. But he'll be back out. The Turtles, which is really one Turtle and Ron Dante from the Archies now. They'll be there. Dude. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah. No. Yeah. I want to say it's Volman, retired from the road. He's still
the one that used to have the big afro.
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
He retired from the road, but he's still a Turtle. But yeah, Ron Dante has stepped in since then. So they do Turtles and Archies and Flo and Eddie and things like that. Sure. So
that's one group I'd love to see. They're hilarious.
I'll tell you here. Okay, so I do have a couple Flo and Eddie albums. I've got the Fluorescent, I got that one. I love that one. But my favorite, I found a white label promo in a junk shop in Harrison, Arkansas, Moving Targets.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Love that album. I'm just like, every bit of it is just, it smacks of behind the scenes, digging at the industry. I'm like, I love that whole album. It's great.
I watched a documentary on the Turtles on YouTube a while ago.
Great that was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's just like, this guy doesn't have any skills or talents, and he can't play any instruments. That's just what we need. The best part of it was at the end when they talked about how they got screwed over by all the managers with the dry erase board and the marker. And then we got the manager number 3 to pay off manager number 2, but then manager number 4 sued manager number 1. And it goes on for like 7 minutes.
God. I'm just...
God, if you get fucked over that hard and still have a sense of humor, God bless you.
Yeah. And at least, even though it took forever, they got the name.
They did.
After they own the name, and I don't know, anybody that knows, throw in the comments. I want to say they got can't be the publishing. It's one or the other. They did get some ownership of something, because maybe it was they got their royalties back, or the publish. I just can't remember, guys. I'm sorry, but that's why they went to court against Spotify and all the other ones, because they were like, hold on a minute, and they got a out of court settlement because of that, because they got caught, not Turtles, but the other guys got caught with the hand in the cookie jar, and I was just like, yeah, you're right though, John. That's right. Turtle. I love that Turtle. That Turtle doc was great. There's still some things I'm looking for in the Turtle discography. I've got the first couple.
Shoot. Hey, I got to run for a second. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay. We'll talk about turtle stuff later. But I really appreciate you guys being on here. Like I said, it's now 5 o'clock my time here, and I'll go on, I think, for another little bit anyway. If Tyler comes back on, that's great. If not, I'll probably bump into Tyler somewhere else, because I was thinking about a good 2 hours. I think will do just fine. But oh boy, I mean, that's why I love having you guys on. Whoever, if anybody else wants to come up for a little bit, please do. Because if not, I might just shorten this out today. Nobody's fault. Like I said, it was just, I love being able to be on here for you guys when we can. I'm assuming Rach must be on for her afternoon show, and I don't know who else. I'm trying to remember who's on Wednesday nights. I might try to come back on. I don't know though. It all depends, because if we end up having a snow day, then I might come back on later, because I really don't have any plans for the rest of the evening. Like I said, Tim Allen, I don't know if you were around and you saw my little 45 batch. You might have to go back here in the episode and find out. I got some decent stuff. But hopefully the record shows that I hope to go to in Tulsa and Springfield, Missouri. Hopefully I can find some stuff. I think what I'm going to do is for example, I'm going to take my 78. I want to probably sell those, because they just are, I don't have anything to play them on, and they just kind of gather dust. So there he is. Look who's back. So yeah, the turtle stuff though, the one thing that there's a couple things I'm looking for, but I think I've got almost all the white whales except for Wooden Head, and I love Turtle Soup. Turtle Soup is like one of my favorite albums.
I'm pretty sure at this point I've got a complete set. It took me a while, but I've got all the White Whale albums. I've got the Crossfires LP.
I need that too.
They put out in '85 the demos for what would have been Shell Shocked.
Yep, need that too. And
there's
the 1968 picture disc.
Okay, I don't have that.
And the turtle-shaped 45 on Rhino. I'm looking for that too. That was a Rhino also in the early 80s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I should have got him back then. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Paul.
I got Shalon Road, which is like another thing of like outtakes and different mixes. And then a couple of years ago, there was a Record Store Day exclusive Turtles 65. I've got that too. I'd show them, but they're like at the bottom of the pile, and I'm not going to dig them out.
Yeah,
so.
I think I heard about the Turtle 65 one, but I didn't know what the content was. Calvin Snow Day, I got the AC on. I wish I had it. I wish it was. No, today and tomorrow is going to be poopy. So I don't like missing work, but it really depends. I mean, we're still talking sleety, frozen, sleety rain for tomorrow too, and I'm like, I live about 10-minute drive from work, but I'm like, if it's like, I drove in it this morning when it started about 10 in the morning my time, and within an hour, because I've been here since 11, the roads were getting slickery already within an hour. I'm like, and I felt bad because
it's coming my way tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah.
It ended up. Yeah,
it's been raining for a couple days out here. I mean, it's not too cold, but like it's just weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Turtles might own their White Whale Masters now.
That's what I'm thinking. Tim. Thank you.
Because
that's right. That's right.
Do you guys know about this?
I want that.
That's
their box set of 45s, and it's on Flow Ed Records. It's on their own label.
Oh,
then that's it. They got the White Whales Masters.
Why I think they might own. All the labels look like this. They look like White Whale, but it's Flow Ed.
That's nice. That's nice.
And weirdly, I mean, it's a cool box because they're all double A sides, but they're
Wow.
also all in stereo, which I'm not sure
Ooh,
why they did that.
I'm not sure myself, but wow. Anyway, um, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
God, what was it I came across? Damn it! From Turtle Soup, I found the 45 because as soon as I saw it said Blimp Productions on the side of it, I'm going, wait a minute, I know what the hell this is, and it was in great shape for 10 cents. I'm going, oh, that was last year. I found that thing, and I'm going, I get something about the rain. That was the 45. It
you
had
don't
the
have to
rain.
walk in the rain.
That's it. And I couldn't believe I found that for a dime. I'm like, holy crap, because usually it's, well, happy together or it ain't me, babe. But I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not even one of those. I said I was happy.
What was the other single from that one? Was Lady-O, right? Judy Sell wrote
Yeah,
that. Okay.
Right. I mean, still, I still think that is so damn cool, that album. I mean, Ray Davies. Ray Davies. I'm like,
yeah.
who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Like I said, Tim, since you might have missed it, this was the best one of the whole entire 45 find. A Minty's 1967 white label promo Kinks Autumn Almanac for $1.
Oh wow,
Yes.
that is fantastic. Yeah, no,
Yep.
I didn't come on. I didn't get here till I don't know after 5:30 anyway.
No
30
Partridge
quarter to
Family.
6.
Didn't find any Partridge Family. 30 degrees here tomorrow. Snow showers. Yeah, see, I wish it would be snow, but it's like I said, it's not. It's pellet
Yeah,
freezing rain fleet.
we've had a lot of that this year. You know, if it's gonna precipitate in the winter, you know, be under 30 degrees and snow. This rain, ice, freezing stuff. It's just
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, because it was like in the low 20s today, and then yeah, it's supposed to be 30 tomorrow when it's still doing this junk, and I'm just like, I'm supposed to go in at 10 in the morning. It's
Yeah.
called. I open up the door at 8 a, and I'm like, what's it look like? Because that's my decision. I mean, I've got enough PPTO time to cover it, and I know I won't get pointed for it. It's just I don't like missing days, but I'm like.
No.
I know with this new job, I mean, I'm still, even with the new job, we still get the same amount of time. But I know this, that if I went in, I also know what would happen. It's called all the orders would be shut off. Then I wouldn't have any work. I'd be going like this, doing all kinds of other stupid shit. And I'm going, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I've been off for the last few days. I've been on vacay, so I was actually very grateful to not have to deal with things today.
That's nice.
Yeah, but trying to think here. They did do one more concert in the area here, but I'm not paying $69 and $89 tickets. I don't care if it is a 900 seat venue. But in Eureka Springs, the headliner is Ozark Mountain Daredevils. 2 original members left. The pride of Springfield, Missouri, by the way. And the opener, well, I hate to say this, we now are in tribute band land. Jim Dandy's Black Oak, Arkansas, because that's all you have left is Jim Dandy. And I'm like, not for $69 and $89. I'm glad I got to see Black Oak for free back about 10 plus years ago. And I'm glad I got to see Ozark Mountain Daredevils for free 3 years ago. And they put on great shows, but not for $69 and $89. And then they changed the opening act for Marshall Tucker. Dave Mason was supposed to do it. Now Dave Mason is not doing it, and it's the Outlaws instead. So you get a night of Southern rock. I almost would see that one, but I'm like, eh. So Dave says, 14 degrees here in the Great White North, Canada. Take off to the Great White North. Yes. If you want, I love that song. That might be my favorite Ozark Mountain Daredevil song. I love Jackie Blue. They play that way too much. But if you want to get to heaven, my buddy played it on his better stereo system, and when he played it, I was listening to it, and I'm going, wait a minute. And he goes, what? There's strings on this damn thing. I can hear them in the back. And I'm like, I didn't know they played strings on the back of that song, on the back end. Threw me for a loop. And then, of course, if you like Ozark Mountain Daredevil, you have to like Chicken Train. Chicken Train's another good one. Yeah, no kidding, John. I would have loved to have seen Black Oak in the 70s. I've got Jim's autograph, Ricky Lee Reynolds' autograph, rest in peace for him. And new album coming out, though, from Black Oak, Arkansas. It's coming out later this year. And Ricky will be on the album, at least for one track. And Johnny Bolin, who is Tommy's brother. Johnny Bolin drummed on and off for Black Oak, Arkansas since the late 80s. Most people didn't know that. And he was on some of Tommy's stuff, especially the live stuff. I got to meet Johnny once also. And I didn't really have a lot to say to him. I just simply went off and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said this. I don't know. I said, I liked your drumming in the live stuff of your brother's work. And I said, I really, really enjoyed your brother's solo work. And he just kind of was like very flippant with me. I'm like, okay, whatever. I was trying to be nice. I don't know. Can't help it. But so that's the only way I got to have anything to do with a Bolin whatsoever. But he's back in the band too. No, he's not back in the band anymore. It's somebody else. Black Oak, Arkansas supposedly is in the Guinness World Book of Records for most lineup changes.
Really?
Now, I could have sworn, now that must be Rock Division, because what I was told was the band that supposedly has the most lineup changes since their inception in 1972 was Asleep at the Wheel.
Is this rock groups, I'm assuming, only?
Well, for Black Oak, yeah, rock group, for the most in a rock group. But like I said, I think okay. Asleep at the Wheel is more country. So that one has the most lineup changes. And it's just Ray Benson. It's Ray Benson and whoever the hell is in the. I don't know. It's goofy. And speaking of that, I think Asleep at the Wheel just came through here late last year, and played a small venue too. And I'm just like, oh, there he goes again. His every other year track. Here he comes right through. Now, they did mention a very cool outdoor festival coming to Bentonville. And I might pull the trigger and go to this. Emmylou Harris is coming. She's like the headliner. What is it? Emmylou Harris and the Red Dirt Angels or something. So she'll be here. And then in the middle of the bill is the Jerry Douglas Band. Who Jerry Douglas has been around for a while too, in the folky, music-y type circle. I don't know, but Emmylou Harris, a discovery of from Graham Parsons. Did you ever see that movie? About I can't remember what the hell it was called, but the story about Graham and Joshua Tree, and I'm like, they always, in Hollywood, they make things more ridiculous than it really is. But I said, how much of this story was true? I burned the whole casket and everything in Joshua Tree. It's like,
that part I'm pretty sure is true.
That's fucked up.
They stole the body. They burned it. You can still go there. You go to the spot. It's marked. I forget her name, but I watched a half-an-hour documentary a couple weeks ago by God, what's her name? She's an undertaker, and she has a YouTube channel, and she covered it.
Grand Theft Parsons. Hey,
there needs to be a video game.
Yeah, somebody should make a mod for that.
Ooh, that would have been an interesting triple bill. Brownville Station, Golden Earring, open for Black Oak in 77. That was, so let's see, 77. Hang on a minute. That's before Black Oak jumped to Capricorn, and that's where they started sinking. But so yeah, they would have been on MCA barely. And Brownsville, oh man, another regret, and just missed this close to getting a very cool interview with Cub Coda before he died, because Cub Coda used to have a regular feature in Goldmine back in the day, and Cub always had very cool stuff to say. Now, Golden Earring, I do not know a lot about Golden Earring except maybe the two hits. Oh, that was the name of the movie. That's right, Grand Theft Parts. But it does sound like a video game title. That's right. I forgot. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm so sorry. I just saw you now. We'll get you up here.
Yeah,
Grand Theft Parsons.
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville was in that movie. He played Phil Kaufman in that movie.
What was that?
I said Johnny Knoxville was in that movie. He played Graham Parsons.
Right.
Or not Graham Parsons, Phil Kaufman. He played Phil Kaufman.
Yeah. I haven't seen it since it first came out. So I would love to see it again.
Well, you know what Phil Kaufman signed on the paper when he took the body, right? What name he put? Johnny Nobody.
No.
Yeah, Johnny Nobody.
There's a name for a band for you, Johnny Nobody.
Yeah.
It could open for P.U. Pinchlove. Let's see. That was the tour that came out in the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou movie. Oh, okay, thank you. I knew Jerry Douglas was around for a while, but yeah. So I'll tell you, one of the coolest Goodwill finds, if I ever find it, I will show it on stream. I found a program from, I think it was 1979, 1980. It was an East Coast folk music and bluegrass festival. And it had to have been from one of the organizers or one of the behind the scenes workers. There was so many autographs in this program. I'm like, most of the headline, Bill Monroe is on this fucking program. I'm going. I saw Bill Monroe. That was the only bluegrass concert I ever went to. In 1986, I saw Bill Monroe. And I just, very cool stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that was one of the names I remember that was up there. For the life of me, there is more, but I could not believe I found this damn program. I'd say there was at least 50 autographs in this thing, different colored pens. I'm going, this is weird. And I went up to the counter because I didn't know what the price was. And they type in $1. Here you go. I'm going, threw the buck, and I ran with it. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Anything of interest? I know I've controlled the conversation mostly. Anything interesting coming down the pipe for any of you guys?
I just posted a new video.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah? On what?
Yeah. I'm doing a series called What's in My Box, where I take a box of records off my shelf and then show what's in it.
I thought it was a Seven reference.
That way I can show my records and not do it all at one time, because I got like 8,000 records on my shelves. So,
there you go. There you go.
Sure. I don't know if I've mentioned Chagall Guevara before on stream. They were a band that was, this is going to sound really lame, but they were a bunch of former Christian rock artists that got together to do a regular rock album in the early 90s. They're getting back together and doing a reunion show in Nashville in July. And I'm probably going to go. So, what?
Who was it?
Chagall Guevara. That's Steve Taylor was the biggest one out of them.
Meltdown at Madame Tussauds.
Yeah, but it's not a Christian thing. It's just a regular rock.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's cool.
they did a Kickstarter 2 years ago to fund the release of a live recording they did back in the day. And it got so much money that one of the stretch goals was a reunion show. And they're doing it in July. So I'm pretty psyched.
Very, very nice.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to ask. Has anybody else seen the trailer for that new Elvis Presley movie?
I have, yes.
Yes.
I thought it looked really good. It's just the guy
playing Elvis.
I think they could find somebody that looked a bit more like the actual Elvis Presley.
Yes,
with how many Elvis impersonators there are.
That was exactly my thoughts. It looks really good, but the guy that played Elvis doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because the guy that's playing Elvis is Spanish, isn't he? Or he looks Spanish.
I guess, kind of.
I don't know.
He just doesn't look right. That's all.
No, he doesn't look right in the part.
Yeah. I mean, he can do some of the moves. I mean, I guess that's what's important, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never gonna get 100%, but I mean, you can get close. Like that biopic they did on Brian Wilson, Love and Mercy, that was pretty good.
Yeah. So was what's his name that played Freddie Mercury in
I didn't see that.
Bohemian Rhapsody, man. He did a great job.
I'll be real. Unpopular opinion time. I've never really gotten the hype for Queen. I don't hate them, but I don't really care for them either.
I thought 70s Queen was best, truthfully.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Easily.
I mean, but saying that though, I'm trying to think like I think I bought every album when it was brand new that when I got into them. So it was either maybe help me out, guys. The one with the black cover that was Day of the Race. Was that
no, that's that's a Day at the Races, yeah.
Okay, that came out in 76, I think, right? So I went from that all the way to the greatest hits in 81, 82. Mm-hmm. I bought all of them brand new. Now, some people would go, oh God, you got Hot Space. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Hot Space.
No.
But my favorite off of there, if there is a favorite, is Calling All Girls. I always liked that damn track off of there because of the guitar work and the phasing and the way they did things on that track. But the rest of it to me is garbage. And so, I mean, I tried to wrap around the Capitol stuff. I mean, I got the works. I remember buying that brand new. And I think that's when I stopped buying Queen records because I was like, I didn't like Another Kind of Magic. I didn't like The Miracle. I like the singles that came off of them, but I'm like, I didn't like the albums. I was just like, to me, this is just like The Miracle. I thought went on way too.
Did you like their very last album? Did you like it, Innuendo?
I did like Innuendo. I did. I bought that one on CD brand new because of Headlong. I loved Headlong, and it was neat to see that video too. And yes, I did get that, but that was the last Queen thing I ever bought. Seriously, I didn't buy what was the Made in Heaven. I didn't buy that. I hate it when this is funny coming from me, but I kind of hate when you're scraping the barrel.
Right.
Oh yeah, you mean like shoot? What's that one Rolling Stones album where they did that for Metamorphosis?
Yeah, I actually like that album.
I've got that album.
Especially side one. Side one might be my favorite Stones side ever.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let me clarify. There's some stuff I like on it too, but I mean, the idea is what I meant because that's what Keith said about it. I mean, maybe he was just bitter at what's his name.
No, they actually sued. I think they sued Andrew Lugo. Was it him or was it Klein put it out? Klein, I think, put it out. They actually sued him, but
there was that one and there was another one, but I can't remember what it was called. It's like the one where they got where Brian's holding the plastic pitchfork. Shoot, it's been a while since I went through all the Stone stuff.
That's the Jumpin' Jack Flash 45 picture sleeve.
Oh, okay. Well, it's on an album cover of Outtakes, but
nice.
My dad had it. It might have been a bootleg for all I know. Oh, did anybody else see the record store day list?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
There's nothing there that impresses me.
There's a couple things that got me. The one, there's a live Knack record from 2001. That's like, I will wait in line for that. I'm a Knack fanatic. Paul Butterfield Blues Band. It's a 3 LP thing of like outtakes and different stuff. There was what else was it? There was a live Dave Brubeck, live Miles Davis, and a Richie Fury solo album, his most recent one.
Yeah.
So
the only one that I'm really interested in is the LA Woman one from the Doors.
Okay. You know, it was one a couple years ago that I didn't care about, and I'm wishing I grabbed was they did a version a couple years ago of the Soft Parade, but they took all the orchestration off of it.
Yeah,
I kind of wish I grabbed that when that came out because I'm sure it's expensive
now. I think it's still under $100.
Well, that's nice.
That's still expensive.
Yeah, but when it came out, it was $60. So
true.
It didn't go up. I mean, it went up, but not.
Yeah.
It depends because like some of them go up in value and some of them sit. Like I got and sometimes they sit and then go up. Like I got that Penny Arcade album, which was a 2014 record store day thing for like $12, and now it's going for $80. So like whatever.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. I know I've talked about it several times here, but God, I love that record.
You can get it at Walmart for $39.98.
What, the Doors thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Soft Parade stripped.
Awesome. I'll keep that in mind.
It's
Thanks.
RSD. It's record store day. I'll post the link in the private chat.
You don't have to. I'll look it up later. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a decent price.
Sure. That's not too bad.
Willie Nelson Live 72 is a good one. Beginning of Outlaw Country. Cap, you don't want speed glue and what? Shinky? Speed glue and shinky?
So I looked up that channel if anybody's interested. It's Ask a Mortician. And she's cool. She's funny. She's interesting. And she does a series called Iconic Corpses. And it's in her Iconic Corpse series.
That's fun.
That sounds intriguing.
Ask a Mortician.
Ask a Mortician.
Nice. Anything else coming down from you guys?
Not really, not from here anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look.
I could go see McCartney if I wanted to mortgage my house, but
yeah, that's not happening.
If I wanted to go hear an 80-year-old man screech, I could mortgage my house.
I
not
think
really.
I think
he is coming to my area for which is rare, but no thanks.
Maybe
what I thought now that was kind of crazy is the place that Chagall Guevara is playing at in Nashville was the former home of the Grand Ole Opry, and 2 weeks before Chagall Guevara is playing, Kraftwerk is playing there, which is ridiculous to think that Kraftwerk is playing at the place that used to be the Grand Ole Opry.
You mean the Ryman?
That is odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like blasphemy. I mean, they kicked Elvis Presley off that stage.
I don't know that much
He
about
wasn't
it.
country enough.
Well, some people are purists. Like, what was that thing about the guy who was it John Denver won some award and then he lit the card on fire?
No, that Charlie, when he won the award, Charlie Rich lit the card on fire.
That's
He
crazy.
said the winner
boy.
is my friend John Denver, and lit the card on fire, and they banned him for life from the CMAs for that.
Maybe they
He
need,
said in an interview that it had nothing to do with John Denver, that it was his big fuck you to the Country Music Awards because they were horrible.
Well, I mean, award shows are usually terrible. Let's be real.
maybe they need. Maybe Kraftwerk needs to do a country album there. You see, then they can call it Kraftwerk.
That would.
They
I
need to
would
work
buy
on
it.
getting twangy synthesizers going.
Speaking of, I did get recently within the last month or so. I got the last album of theirs that I didn't have, so I got a full set now.
Wow.
Yeah, Radioactivity.
Ooh, hang on.
There's this place.
Hang on.
That's okay. Radioactivity. There's this place I go to around Pittsburgh, and they never have Kraftwerk stuff ever. I always ask the guy, and the last
Tyler.
time I went, I just what?
Show it again. You just
Okay.
finally showed up.
Okay, my bad. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah. They never have Kraftwerk stuff, and I'm always asking the guy. And the last time I went, I looked in the main bin, and it was just there. And I'm like, whoop, I'll take that. So yeah, that's all of them. The first two I have bootlegs of because the first two only came out in Germany, and they're obnoxiously expensive.
Now, are you
Wow.
from around Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
cool, man. I
Yeah,
live in Cranberry. It's about a half hour out.
Yeah, I live around Greensburg.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Someday I need to get out to PA again. I only was in PA for about 20 minutes total. Western PA.
Yeah.
I don't even know where. Just
If you come through, Paul, there's two great record stores you got to go to: Jerry's and the Attic. They're awesome.
And they're both
Jerry's
legendary.
is still going.
Yeah, Jerry Weber himself just died about a month ago, but the store's still there.
Wow.
Yeah, he sold the store like years before he died.
Yeah. I don't know. According to a certain VCer that we all know, he goes there, but there's never anything that he's interested in.
Something
That
tells
must
me
be
the
back
Paul
up.
McCartney
Yeah,
section
they've only
is
got
rather
like 5
slim.
million records. I couldn't find anything I was interested in.
Yeah, they're only like the largest record store in the state of Pennsylvania, but couldn't find
That's
anything.
like I've been there a lot, and to hear somebody say that is like almost physically painful. How could you not find something? It's huge.
Yeah, no, he didn't find anything that.
I mean, if you watch like videos online, they even have records stacked in the fucking bathroom.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. They've since I started going there, they've cleaned it a lot. When I started, it used to be it was so packed, it was almost hard to get around in there. Like, but they finally cleaned it up a bit. And they've raised their prices also, but I suppose that's just the economy we live in right now.
I think
No,
it
Mike,
has
it's not.
more
It's
to
not,
do with
Joe.
the new owner than it does the economy.
What was that? I was being sarcastic, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I said it probably has more to do with it being a new owner than economy.
Yeah, I know.
Because Jerry
With my
seemed
luck,
like he
I would
didn't
own it.
care about what he got for the records as long as he was putting them in hands of people that cared about them.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
it was always a good deal. And it's not like it hasn't changed like scam levels. It's not just as cheap as it used to be.
Right.
But like things would come and go quick. Like I remember years ago, and I kicking myself for doing this, but I traded a copy of Wish You Were Here in with some other stuff. I saw the guy put it out on the shelf, and within 5 minutes it was gone. Like things come and go out of that place
Wow.
like that. Like yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those places like you have to be there when they put the records out.
Yeah.
To get the really sweet stuff, you have to be there.
And it's also one of those places too where it's just like the way looking through the shelves, it's like you're looking for one thing or maybe not, and then you see something, oh, I wasn't looking for this, but I actually subconsciously was looking for this. And all kinds of things I wasn't directly looking for, I always find. It's a great store. And they're finally rebuilding their 45 section. Like back in the day, they had like 5 huge, like to the ceiling and way back things of like 45s where you had to have like a ladder to get to all the boxes. And they sold all of them to somebody overseas like 10 years ago. And they're finally starting to build it back. And you know what I found recently, the last time I was there, which was a while ago, was in the picture sleeve, they had the New Monkeys 45 from 1987. And I'm like, yep, I will take that.
Yep.
It's a good record.
I didn't even know they made a 45.
Yeah.
Did not.
It's just What I Want and Corner of My Eye, which are both on the album. I think they're like no different mix. It's the same. The show itself, they actually recorded a number of tracks that were never used. I mean, because it got canceled, but somewhere, if there's a tape that still exists, they should release those, because I've heard some like low quality versions on YouTube. They're pretty good. They did a good cover of Marshall Crenshaw's "Someday, Some Way." Larry Seltz is a great singer. Yeah.
Okay. That might be interesting.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Just look it up.
Yeah, like I said, I swear, I still hold to this theory that if they would have put out this album on Warner in any other name other than New Monkeys, at least they would have got middle of the charts minimum.
Well, here's something else I heard was they were going to you're somewhat familiar with the songs on the album, right? They were going to put I Don't Know as the single instead of What I Want. And basically Larry and Marty talked the record label out of doing it, because Marty Ross has this joke. It's like, I don't want to go to festivals and be singing this song for the rest of my life as a career option. So they talked him into switching it out, which like that's like the cheesiest of songs. Well, no, maybe not, but suffice to say, I wouldn't want to have to sing that song over and over again to feed myself. I don't blame them. Now, would that have been a hit? Maybe, but again, the idea of just calling it New Monkeys killed it. Also, I don't know if you've watched any of the show. The show's not that good either. It's not like painful.
I've seen one episode.
The thing is,
one episode, and I'm just like,
I think I found a sealed copy of the album a couple of years ago. I can't remember if I even still have it or if I sold it.
The record is worth having, but like
I never played it because it was sealed. So like they are really funny. Like anytime they get together for a reunion or an interview, they're hilarious. The improv jokes back and forth. They've got comedic chemistry. But when they went out on set, the producers wouldn't let them improv. So it was like follow the script, which is like the opposite of what the original Monkeys was, because the random mistakes and jokes is what made the original Monkeys really funny. And Dino would always say the funniest stuff that ever happened was when the cameras weren't rolling. And it's just such a tragedy that like some of those scenarios, those episodes, they could have made it work if they were just allowed to improv a little bit. But I mean, granted, the name killed it anyway, but it could have had more redeemable value than it has, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And like I said, I was glad to find mine. Mine was, I think, a gold stamped. And I think I only paid $3 for it. I was like, holy crap. I couldn't believe I found it. It was on a box of nothing, to tell you the truth. Everything else was crap around it. I'm going, oh, wait a minute. Yes, please, and thank you. But I've only played it once. I liked it. It was a good pop record.
Yeah. It's on streaming now. They put it on Spotify and Amazon Music and all that, which is great. There's that record store I go to out in Madison, and they have one and they want 99 cents for it. And every time I go there, it's still there. And I take it every time I see it. Oh, I feel bad because, like I said, it's a great record, but like it's still funny. It's just funny.
Mike, what's behind me? I don't know if anybody remembers the old school days of my Psychos Platters. This is the Care Bear curtain. I used to have Care Bear curtains in Jessica's office. I would shoot a bunch of videos, and when I started doing live streams, I would have the Care Bear curtains. And you can thank Joe Mayo for as to why this Care Bear curtain is back for today, because he's like, I remember you were there on that stream, Tim. He was like, I kind of missed the Care Bear thing. I'm like, well, there you go, Mayo. Now you got to watch the damn show because I put it up there. Now it'll be a couple months before it's back. Care Bear stare, which, by the way, once again, we kick into this. I have that picture disc I bought for Jess about 7-8 years ago. Wonderful looking picture disc. And who did the music for that Care Bear picture disc? That's right. Volman and Kalen.
Yep. They did some Strawberry Shortcake too. They did some Strawberry Shortcake albums too. Yes, they did.
Wow.
Didn't John Sebastian do some for Strawberry Shortcake?
He did some cartoon thing in the 90s. Yeah, I don't
know, but yeah, Flo and Eddie did, definitely.
Before his voice got shredded, he had the voice for it.
I know, right, Tyler? I'm telling you, I feel I seen Sebastian perform.
And I shouldn't laugh because it's really tragic, but it's also it's rough, man.
Did you see, I think it was a Juno Award ceremony where John and Sal get back one last time together. I'm like, oh, I said, this is nice. It's just too bad it wasn't everybody. But I was like, it was really nice to see. And Zal was like doing real good. John was like this. But it was so nice to see those two. That was like shortly before Zal died, I think. And I'm just like, I love the spoonful. Always like the spoonful. And once again, here we go on maybe in an alternate parallel musical universe. In 1965, the Lovin' Spoonful got their television show instead of the Monkees, because that's who originally was supposed to get the show. Imagine those four. Yeah. So here you go.
See, like, they say that they weren't funny enough. It's just like they scream comedy. Like, you just look at them and they look funny. Like, what was there was this one thing I saw with John Sebastian, and he was on somebody's show, and like the guy was telling a story, and John pulls out his harmonica and he starts playing his background music, and slowly, for no reason, he starts playing it more intensely. Oh my God, was it the Smother Brothers? It was just one guy. You got to look it up, because like he just starts. It gets louder and louder, and like it's really funny.
See, I tried, like, okay, I like John's first solo album, and yes, okay, fine, I like Welcome Back, okay, I just do, but I really don't know a lot of Sebastian's catalog, and he's
got 4 solo albums. The first one is probably the best. The 2 of us, or is it the 4 of us, I think, is kind of cool. It's got like a couple songs on the A side, and the B side is like this 12-minute piece, and it's like people going on a road trip, and there's like 6, and it goes down to 4 until there's only 2 people left, I think. It's interesting. But then there's another album called Tarzana Kid, I think it's called, and it's just nothing special about it. And then Welcome Back. Title track's cool. There's a redo of Didn't Want to Have to Do It, which is on what Spoonful album? Daydream, I think. And that's cool. But the rest of it's kind of bland. It's just none of his stuff is particularly interesting. Like, it's not bad, but it's just What's cool though is there is two different versions of the John B. Sebastian album. There's the one with like the red orange silhouette. That's the main one, but that was on Reprise. MGM put it out first, and then there was like a lawsuit and it got pulled. So what's cool about that too is MGM put that out and a live album. And so those both got pulled. So if you have those are actually, I mean, maybe not expensive, but kind of rare because they got
never seen the MGM ones. Never seen them.
Yeah.
I try to look for them too, but I've never come across. I'm gonna throw this out there really, really quick before I keep going with the spoonful bit. Of course, you know, and about the whole the Marx Brother chemistry. True story. Groucho showed up on set to a Welcome Back Kotter taping, and he was originally scheduled to do a walk-on cameo.
Oh, really?
And unfortunately, while he was there, and the live studio audience got to see Groucho, I guess, for maybe a minute. Okay, it was more Kaplan and Travolta and the gang got to see Groucho more than the audience did. What happened was they were getting ready to roll the cameras, and something happened to Groucho. He was not feeling well, and supposedly there is one photograph somewhere of Groucho with the Welcome Back Kotter gang. And so I was just like, well, that's too bad, you know, because obviously, you know, Kaplan would always be, and for Groucho to show up and say some wise ass comment to Kaplan would have been the icing on the cake. Now, one of the things I picked up, this is like quite some time ago, but I'm not going to let this go. I have a signed Hums of the Lovin' Spoonful album signed by all four. And
really?
There was a story, the backstory to this is that they came through Little Rock in that time period. And it was well, back then she was a teenager. She had a photograph. It was a slightly fuzzy photograph, but I could tell John was in the background of the photo. And they're like, you know, she goes, I waited a little while, but I got and I'm like, I was trying to figure out why she was even selling it in the first damn place. It was the typical story of, I need the money. So I'm like, I threw the 20 and I'm like, here you are. So, and it wasn't personalized either, which was kind of nice. It's just, it was all on the back, because back then that's what they used to do. Very few people signed on the front of their albums back then. It was like back cover stuff. But
no, you wrote your own name on the front.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true, Mike and Greg. I found out about that story a year or two ago, and I think it was either Kaplan or oh man, was it Ron Pertillo? Epstein? It was one of the cast members. It wasn't Travolta, though, who brought that story up. It's just like that weird little cameo story, which this would have been really great, and maybe in an alternate musical universe, John Lennon did show up in a cameo on Happy Days in 74, 75, since he visited the set. It would have been hilarious just to see him either step out of the bathroom or walk into Arnold's or something and just blurt something out and then leave. And I'm just like, that would have been funny. I'm sorry. A Yoko-less John.
The best kind.
It was really like, I can imagine Fonz going, hey, I don't want any of that. Oh, no snapping fingers for Yoko. Oh, that would. Crappy days. But you've seen that photograph, though, right? Of John and Julian visiting the set. It's a cool shot. It's a really cool shot that showed up there. So, John Wayne on the Beverly Hillbillies. Do. Come here, Jed Clampett, you pilgrim. Oh God, no. No, you had to bring up Battle of the Network Stars, you son of a bitch. Just kidding, Dave. But oh God, I remember that show. Oh God, it was dreadful. It was
the only good part is a young lad. I used to like the part where there were always female stars in like little small bathing suits getting wet. I liked that part when I was a kid.
It's like, oh yes.
Yeah. Adrian Barbeau on Battle Network Stars was a good thing to see.
Adrian Barbeau.
There were a couple others too. I can't remember who.
I had to go see Swamp Thing back then. Oh, I heard she was topless. Well, hey, it was worth it. I'm like, the movie was okay, but yes, I came for Adrian. That didn't sound right, but I know where I'm going on this. You know, she still looks good, by the way. Adrian does.
Does she?
What was it? The last thing she did was on HBO. It was called Carnival. And that was one of those series that they got signed for another season, just like Deadwood, and they pulled the plug. So they never got a finish. Now Deadwood, I guess, did finally get years later the movie, which wrapped up some of the loose ends, which I have yet to see. I love Deadwood. I always thought that Deadwood was the 1880s Sopranos with Al swearing like more than a sailor and then some. I don't know if have you ever seen that show?
No, I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. And,
I think it's like when they're building the railroads, right?
Yes, Deadwood. Yeah, around Deadwood. So here's the true story, though. Okay, so when they went and did the movie, all right, they asked everybody back except one character. So there was a minor character in Deadwood, and he was the principal of Ferris Bueller Day Off, and he played a bit role in this show back then. So why was he not asked back? Because between the time that Deadwood ended and when this movie came and got filmed, that particular gentleman, and I apologize, I do not know his name. It's escaped me. He was charged with child indecency.
Oh shit!
That's why. And there was children on the set all the time on Deadwood. And so they were like, I didn't see the movie, but supposedly there was kids on the set. He couldn't be on that damn set because of that. So, so that's what we were talking about on that bit. And Carnival was great, typical for HBO to stop production. Yeah, like I said, I was pretty pissed off because they did that one in Deadwood. I got to watch that movie though. So yeah, so true story. So that's why he wasn't invited back for that movie. And of course, the guy that plays Al Swearingen, Ian, Dave, the pickup artist, says, I go back to Hot Rod with Andy Samberg. And he's like, if you kick my ass now, you only kicking half a man. And I'm like, I don't know if you ever seen that movie, but it's highly recommended for comedy. You need to watch Hot Rod. Because he's the stepdad. He keeps goading Andy Samberg through the whole fucking movie. And I'm just like, you'll only be kicking half a man's ass. Because he was like dying of cancer or some shit in the movie. Jeffrey Jones was his name, Mike says. Yeah, that's why. And go figure about Jeffrey Jones was my friend used to live in Cali before she moved back to Madison, Wisconsin. And I can't remember where near Culver City she lived for a while. And she had a roommate and the family and everything. They'd have garage sales every week because they would go dumpster diving. Well, fancy pants California dumpster dining, okay? And Jeffrey Jones must have lived in the area because he showed up every damn week because the garage sale was the items would be different. Seriously. Him, and guess who also showed up once in a while? This was funny. The dude who played Max Headroom. Max Headroom. See, you never thought you'd hear Max Headroom in a Psycho Splatter's life. Well, I just said it. But he'd show up to the garage sales. How much for this ashtray? I can't do Max Headroom, but you can figure it out for yourself.
He has one of my favorite lines ever. He was on Letterman once. They wheeled a TV out, and there's Max Headroom, and Letterman's interviewing Max, and Max Headroom's doing his shtick, and Letterman just off the cuff goes, I'm trying to think of the line now. Oh my God. I think he's something like, I think you've got, what's the line when you think somebody's a little nuts about having a plate yeah, I think he said, did you have a plate in your head or something like that? Because, he's being weird. And Max Headroom comes back with, I've got a whole set of china. It's such a good line for this mechanical thing that they had to create instantaneously. It was freaking fabulous. I've got a whole set. You have a plate in your head. I've got a whole set of china. It's a great line.
Oh my God. I'll have to put that in my file cabinet. Now I have to have an excuse to use that line somehow. I will.
Yeah. No, it's a great line.
I miss those days when so when Johnny Carson retired, I went right to Letterman. That's where I always watched Letterman too, but I'm like, I don't like Jay Leno. Never liked Jay Leno. And after I found out what he really did behind the scenes, I will never have anything to do with Jay Leno.
It was more of his manager than him, but yeah. And he did fire his manager after the whole thing happened. He did get rid of her.
Well, good.
So he's that decent, But what he did to Conan is another thing entirely. And but
oh God. So so I know this is going to be really off the cuff and strange, but one of the Letterman memories I remember, and thank God for YouTube. So I'm watching Letterman the night before I'm getting married in '87. And so he goes off and he mentions our next guest, and out comes the guy in this clown suit with a cigar. And he goes, until Letterman goes, so how you feeling? Who cares? And I'm like, but the dude was like making all kinds of, and I'm going, oh my God, for some reason, maybe it's because I was drunk. I have no clue. I was laughing my ass off. How did I know that a couple of years later that dude, that he was the writer of those clown bits, and he co-created Simpsons, and that's where Krusty ended up landing. I'm going,
oh wow,
oh my God. Krusty the Clown. That's right.
Letterman had some talented people working with him. I mean, some really, really even people that you think, they weren't that talented. They actually were. I'm so old I can't think of anybody's name anymore.
Let me tell you something, Tim.
Chris.
I was the number one clown in Springfield.
What's his name? The guy
pretty good.
The guy that did that movie, that Letterman was in briefly.
Cabin Boy. I was supposed to have a
Cabin Boy. That guy was actually a really good writer and a pretty talented guy. He had him.
Chris Elliott.
Chris Elliott.
I know the person who voiced Homer Simpson did a bunch of other stuff too. Like, he was the voice. There was a video game in the '90s called Earthworm Jim that had its own cartoon series. It's the same voice actor who does Earthworm Jim that does Homer Simpson. Castellaneta. Yeah. That show was good too, by the way.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but I had two of my letters read on two of Letterman's shows. And those are my
No
big
shit.
claims to fame. Yeah, viewer mail. I got one on when he was on in the morning and one on his NBC show.
Oh my God, I remember the morning show barely. Oh God. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I twice.
Cool.
I never tried when he went to CBS. He did viewer mail for a little bit and then he stopped. But I never tried. I'm like, I'm 2 for 2. I might as well just stay 2 for 2. So I never tried the third one.
God, it's see what it, and then with Letterman, some of the favorite bits I remember watching, of course, brand new back then.
Mhm.
The Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler bit, the Peter Tork dates an audience member that turns out to really be Dave Letterman's mother in disguise. I'm like, oh my God. I said, this is great. This is great. I was like rolling my eyes and tearing. I'm like, this is so. And then a really very nice, polite interview with Nesmith from the 80s with a full
I remember
beard.
that.
Like,
and then he's like, "You're trying to get us back together, huh? I see you had Peter on a couple weeks ago."
But yeah, so I mean that was he always had, and that's the thing. Letterman was like really the last late night I liked.
Was that the guy? He had Andre the Giant on too, right? I think I saw something.
Yeah,
that was.
He had everyone on.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see Mo pie his wife. 74.
Did you ever hear the story of why he finally quit, Letterman?
No, I actually would like to know.
He used to have everybody on, and it was cool, and he got. But the farther in you go, the less control you have, and it got to be just whoever needed to hawk something came on these shows, and that's all they became about. And he had his son Harry at that point in time. Harry was probably 6 or 8 or something when he left, and there was this bird that started living in their backyard, and they were trying to figure out what kind of bird it was. And one day Letterman was in his office and was online and figured out what kind of bird it was. And he was so excited to know what this bird was that was living in their backyard. Then he goes out and he does the show, and he goes home and he tells his wife and his son, I found out what the bird is. He goes all about the bird, and his wife's like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, was it a good show? And he's like, yeah, it was all right. And she was like, who was on? And he couldn't remember. And this was only like an hour and a half ago or something like this.
Oh boy.
The show ended, and he didn't even have an idea who he talked to. And that night he decided, okay, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he didn't even tell Paul Schaefer. Do you know this?
No.
He told Paul Schaefer about 10 minutes before they went on. At the beginning of the show, Paul, I'm going to make an announcement, and you should probably know that. And that's how he told him. And Paul found out the same time that everyone else found out that he was leaving.
Wow. That's just And a great band too, Paul Schaefer and Anton Fig. I thought that was funny that he would always. It's like, hey, it's Anton.
We called him Anton Zip.
But yeah, it's like after he left, I lost interest. I didn't follow anybody. I mean, Conan in the early days,
I wasn't even watching him
on him
every night anymore, because like he said, his show was just getting to be, I didn't know who these people were that were on, and he would still be interesting at some point sometimes, but over the years he'd stopped going out and doing stuff because things had happened, and I understand, there was always incidents that prompted him to stop doing this stuff, but still, it got to be less and less over the years until finally he just sat behind a desk interviewing people that weren't very interesting. And at that point, he lost interest.
Yeah, it gets stale. Thank God to YouTube anyway. I forgot about this. In I think it was 88 or 89, Letterman came and did a week's worth of shows in Chicago at the Chicago Theater. Beautiful old theater, been around forever. And honest to God, it was that YouTube video that triggered the memory. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that because the ticket requests were so ridiculous because I wanted to be there and it was impossible. It just was. Unless you want them off a radio station, it was impossible to get in there. But I saw the highlight reel of Dave going out, and this is the funny bit. He goes out with Bozo as the tour guide, and I'm going, oh no. I said, how come I don't remember this shit? And so it's like about a 12-15 minute bit of where they both go in the city of Chicago. And I'm like, I knew half of the landmarks, and I'm like, holy crap. I said, could you imagine just here you are doing a casual thing, and here comes Dave and Bozo. I'm like, what the fuck? So I thought that was funny in itself. Guys, it's a little after 6. I have to cut this because I got dinner and I have to make some phone calls. I promised somebody I would talk to them. I really want to thank everybody that's been on here. I appreciate your patience, everybody. I wish I could do these shows a hell of a lot more often, but like I said, time dictates. Who knows? If I end up with a snow day tomorrow, I might do another one. Who knows? But I want everybody to be careful, be safe out there. I love you guys, and just try to have a damn good rest of the week. And thanks for everybody. Take care. God bless. Rock on. And we're going to see you next time. Okay.
Yeah, everybody.
Thank you, Tyler, Tim.